Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, and wonderful listeners out there, welcome to another edition of the Wise Owl Ones
podcast. Owl Ones podcast.
The Owl Ones.
Listen, get it right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next podcast, which is featuring the Wise Old Owl Ones.
Wise, not wide. Wise.
I am wide.
I know. I thought the wise.
It's the Wise Owl Ones. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's not old.
No, it's the Wise Owl Ones.
I am old.
The Wise.
Don't you dare put this out on podcast.
The Wise Owl Ones. Anyway, here we are, another week. And how was your week, Mary? Did you have a nice time?
It's been up and down. I've done a beautiful gig in my local church there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just on Tuesday gone.
Lovely.
And I sang a few songs, which was very weird, standing in a church singing Let's Face the Music and Dance.
I'm
sure the man above didn't mind.
I bet he didn't mind.
He was probably dancing with his tap shoes on.
Of course he was, my love.
So it was a nice
And think
week.
of all the angels and so. What was the acoustics like in the church? Good.
It's quite a small church. The sound was very good, yeah. I mean,
Right.
we had Kathy on music, on sound, you know.
Great.
She's always
there,
you
is she?
know.
Yeah.
Meticular, I think the word is, you know.
Meticulous.
With her buttons, yes.
Meticulous, Mary.
She pushes them up and pulls them down. I know what you like. But anyway, it was a lovely thing. It was a lovely little charity thing we did. I think it was charity. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah. But it was lovely. And I met some old friends. I mean, I was standing on the altar looking down at these people. It was in Cherry Orchard in Ballyfermot.
Lovely.
And I lived there for 10 years. And as I'm on the stage, I'm looking down and I could not believe the amount of people that are still living in that area that I've moved out of.
Yeah.
And they've got older like myself.
Yeah.
And their young daughters were sitting beside them, now young ladies. So it was an incredible feeling. Very nerve-wracking to sing in front of your own people.
I always find that actually because I prefer strangers.
Yeah, so do I.
But you're always, I think I don't know whether it's an ego thing or it's a confidence thing. It's like they know you so well, and are they going to judge you? Right, you know, are they going to like you?
Well, to be honest with you, I have to say, when they give me 2 standing ovations and a welcome that they gave me, I was blessed.
Oh, Mary,
I was blessed.
When I went to see your show in the Civic, and they're up on their feet, and you haven't even opened your mouth, and I thought somebody's gone out and bribed that audience.
Kathy was out giving them all the time.
I'm only joking. I mean, which is a lovely testament to your
it's lovely.
to your
It's lovely.
popularity and your success. And I think, I think that must make you feel really, really good.
Yeah, it's the same when you did your one-woman show. I mean, I remember going and people giving you standing ovation. It's just recognition.
It is.
For what
is.
we're doing.
Yeah.
And we have to learn to accept
I know.
that people enjoy listening to us for some unknown reason, but I'm very happy they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get down to our first talk for the
Anyway,
day.
to talk today, do you know what I'd like to talk about?
What would you like to
And it's a subject that's very dear to my heart. I would like to talk about the menopause.
So I think that's dear to everyone's bloody heart at this point.
Well, I think there's not enough discussion about the menopause.
Yeah.
It's getting better, but there certainly isn't enough discussion about it amongst women themselves.
Yes.
And we are the experts on it, and we don't share our stories. And the menopause affects each one of us very individually.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me the kind of impact the menopause had on you to start with?
Well, I mean, when I started the menopause, the perimenopause really, was when I started to realise I was getting older, for starters.
Okay.
And I realised I had to do something different with my life. So in that sense, you know, starting off in the perimenopause, I decided I was going to change the way I lived and what I was going to do. So that's where the music came in.
Oh, wow.
But physically,
what
happened to me was the first time I ever got a flush, I was never told anything about it. My mother never spoke about it.
No, my mother didn't.
I remember sitting in the job in Tesco's, other supermarkets are available, sitting on the till, and this unmerciful thing from my breast up into my face, this heat.
Right.
And I kept saying to myself, oh God, I must be gone very red, but I wasn't.
No, yeah.
But I felt
But you felt you were on fire. Yeah.
And there was an elderly woman, when I say elderly woman, at that time I was in the early 40s, and this woman was in her 70s, and she was coming along and she said to me, okay, I must have looked pale looking or frightened.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to her, I'm after getting this burning sensation right with my face. And she actually told me what it was. A complete stranger at the till told me I was having a hot flush.
And how old were you then?
I was 49
Wow.
at that stage. 48, sorry, 48.
Yeah.
And I do remember saying to her, how long do these blooming things last? And the poor woman said to me, I think she said she was 79 and she was still gets the flushes. So we're told medically by the doctor, because that's what I was told medically, that the menopause will last 7 years. I'm 64 now.
Yeah.
And I finally started my menopause, the full menopause, at 50.
Yeah. So that's 14 years.
14 years ago, and I still get the night sweats.
Yeah.
And I still get the flushes. And I still get me moody swings, and I get me mad moments where I can't remember anything.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people say that's old age, but that was exactly what's happened to me now was happening to me 14 years ago.
No, I think a lot of the menopause has an awful lot to answer for.
Yeah.
Like mine, I didn't have hot flushes, okay?
Wow.
Now I have night sweats, still having night sweats.
Yes.
And that is, 18 years later, right? And I'm still having night sweats. But what I did have, and I remember going to a doctor when I was 45, right? And I said, look, I think I'm going through the menopause. And she went, I'm starting the menopause. And she laughed at me. This was a female doctor who laughed at me, which of course I would just burst into tears, right? And she said, what makes you think? And I said, because mentally, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
I can't remember things. Stress level is just anxiety that I feel, panic attacks. I've never experienced anything like this before. It has to be the menopause.
Yeah.
Is it possible to go through the menopause mentally before the physiological kicks in? Anyway, she was saying, no, well, I'll have to take blood tests, which she did. I went back the following week for the result, and she apologised to me. And she said, I'm really sorry. She said, your hormones were off the scale. But she said, I can't do anything for you until I take another blood test.
Right.
Because your blood readings can go up and down.
Yeah.
Which she did. And of course, it came back normal. But I knew that very first blood test I was going through. Yeah. And mentally for me, I wanted to go on HRT. Okay.
Right.
Nobody would put me on HRT.
I wanted it too.
Yeah. They wouldn't put me on HRT. And eventually I got a doctor when I first came back to Ireland again. I mean, I even went to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I did too.
I honestly thought, I'm going mad, right? Until I went and I said, no, I have to somebody has to help me. And again, this is where, nobody was sharing stories with me. No woman was saying, listen, you're okay. You're going to be okay. That's normal for you. It's not, like hot flushes were normal for you. They weren't normal for me.
I also had, got very depressed.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I was a basket case. Eventually, I got a doctor to put me on HRT.
And I think it
took about 3 months for it to kick in. And when I say it was a night and day experience, right? I was normal. I could get up in the morning and actually look forward to the day and not be depressed.
When you started the HRT, did you have what you would normally have if you were getting a period, the tender breast?
Oh yes. Oh no, when I started HRT, your periods come back because mine had stopped, obviously. Yeah. So you're still, it's a forced bleed, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I would get, I could live with that. I go, that's okay. Because mentally I feel so good.
Yeah.
However, that's when the scaremongering had started.
Yes.
Okay, there's lumps in your breasts and this causes cancer, this, that and the other and so on and so forth. Unfortunately for me, I did come up with the lump, right? Went off to my doctor's and I didn't come up with it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Went off to the doctor and she said, you have to come off HRT.
You see, they didn't know either.
Right, now, it was benign, it was a cyst. You have to come off HRT. That's what's caused it, right? See, I told you, because she wanted me off it as soon as I'd registered with her.
Yeah.
And she knew I was on HRT. She wanted me, and I said, no, I'm not coming off it, because I'm mental when I come off it.
Yeah.
I'll put you on Valium. I said, oh, will you? I don't want Valium. I want this. I want my hormones to help me.
Yes.
Anyway, so I came off it, and then and there was a huge adjustment again. Now, thankfully, I didn't go back into that black hole, which is what I was in before I went on the HRT. And as you say, depressed. I'm talking, I can only describe it as a black hole.
Yeah.
I would come home from work, Mary, at a weekend on a Friday night, and I'd get into my pyjamas, and I didn't get out of them until Monday morning.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Didn't speak to a soul. Didn't talk to anybody. Didn't go out anywhere. that kind of depression.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to it.
I used to go out and doing your thing and
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what was wrong with me, and I'm still convinced it was all down to the hormones.
Yeah, well, for me, it was what happened when the depression hit me, and I still to this day say that if I had been treated properly at the time, I wouldn't still be on antidepressants.
Absolutely,
Because
I
I
agree with
think
you.
they have become so. I've become so addicted to them now that when I did try to come off them, it was like a hole in my stomach.
Oh God,
And I went berserk.
Yeah.
So I don't come off them now. I'm on them for the rest of my life. When I first went to my doctor, I asked about the HRT, and he was a male doctor I had, and I had him for years, and he was a lovely man, and he was very good at what he did when he was younger. But he kind of talked down to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, you need to lose the weight. But for me, what was happening was, because I was so down,
Of course you were.
food became
comfort.
Food became my comfort. So I even had my poor daughter put on tons of weight when I started the menopause.
Yeah.
Because she started eating with me.
Yeah.
And it was all down to me, my menopausal stuff that was
Yes.
happening. That she was now stuck in this same thing with me because it was only me and her.
Absolutely.
And then other things started to happen in life. And I could cope with anything that happens in life. But at this particular time in my life, the simplest things were stressing me out and were giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
And, it was just, and I had no one to turn to because the male doctor wouldn't talk to me about the menopause.
Well, that was because of your weight, wasn't it? I mean, there's nothing to do. I mean, what's with menopause? If you lose a few pounds.
And get off the cigarettes as well and go out for a run. So in other words, what you were saying to me was, you're just a big fat cow who smokes too much, and that's the reason you're feeling the way you're feeling. But I wasn't like that prior to the menopause.
Yeah. No.
But I mean, today, I think today, it's still, I've been watching the television, I've been hearing people saying, we need to talk about the menopause more, and they are. But they're not it's not enough to just sit on a television show and have a half an hour.
There has to be proper programs, I think, aimed at certain age groups.
Yeah.
Perimenopause, menopause.
I don't know if they teach it in school or not.
I actually don't know, Mary.
I know they have a lot to teach young kids in school. I mean, like, they've got to learn first of all, they've got to learn how to become
absolutely an adult
and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think as we get to a certain age, there should be some sort of talks about it somewhere along the line to tell people. And the HRT is a lifesaver for a lot of people.
Of course it is. And I remember a friend of mine now when we did eventually start talking about not HRT, about the menopause. And I mean, even to this day, when I remember her, she really made me laugh. And she goes, "Nobody told me I was going to go mad. No one fucking told me."
But no one told any of us.
You're right. She said, "No one." She said, "How could you do this to me? How could society do this to woman?"
Yes. But
And
women were
not
always
prepare
being
us,
treated
not
bad.
give us, because information is power.
Of course it is.
Right? And yes, we're all very different, and we'll all perceive it very differently, and we'll all experience very differently. But we need to be supporting each other.
Of course we do.
And we need to be getting a body of information that isn't necessary, for the medical profession.
Yes.
Sit up and listen now.
But also, I think, we have the Well Woman clinics that people can go to, but I don't even know where there's a Well Woman clinic.
No, I know.
They're not advertised enough.
No.
And the government should be behind this.
Absolutely.
Backing these people who are giving out these information and stuff for women.
Yeah.
And young girls who know. I mean, look, I was talking to a girl yesterday who is, she's 30-something, 36, I think, and had to have her womb removed, and is now straight into
the
menopause.
Oh, God,
at 36.
love
And my
her.
own friend, Lulu, a friend of mine, who was 35 when she had her womb removed and went straight into menopause. So, I mean, there's no particular age. I mean, there's young people, there's young girls go through it at a very young age.
I know.
Now, it's rare.
Yeah, but it does happen. It does happen.
So what is the solution? I mean, I don't know I just think more information, but how do we get the information out?
Yeah.
The proper information and not all these big words.
Yeah.
You ever hear them when the government are talking and sabla babla and that's what it's like to me on the telly. I'm going, what in the name of God, what language are they talking?
Yeah.
Just talk to me in lay terms.
Well, I think traditionally, and certainly our generation, we were never brought up to our parents. Our mothers never spoke about it.
No, never.
They never spoke. My mother never spoke about the menopause.
My mother hit the drink.
I think my mother celebrated when she was going through the change. Because she was always in a perpetual state of pregnancy.
Yes.
So she had 10 kids.
Oh, yeah.
And there was like
Well, that's understandable.
16 years. So I think she actually celebrated the fact that, oh my God, I'm going through the menopause. So she never spoke about it. She never said, oh, I had hot flushes or it was a difficult time for me.
Yeah.
It was just not shared. It's the same way
But
as
you couldn't even talk
same
about
way as
periods.
puberty was. Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. You couldn't even talk about periods. I mean, I remember asking her for half a crown. What for? I said, them thingies, you know?
Yeah, you
at the
couldn't
chemist.
even say sanitary towels.
What thingies? You know, Mad, STs.
Yeah.
Oh, right. End of conversation.
Yeah.
She gives me the half crown.
Well,
we don't have another.
I was told when I was 11 and a half years of age that I was getting a gift from Our Lady. And I think we
So
spoke
did I.
about this before.
Yeah, we did.
And I do remember, literally as a young woman,
Me too.
thinking I was going to get
I'm
a
gonna get a
gift from Our
present.
Lady in a big box.
Yeah.
And then when it actually happened to me at the age of 13,
Yeah.
I came down and all my brothers were in the room and I told my mother, Mommy, I'm bleeding. And she gave me such a clatter.
Yeah.
Nearly knocked me into the door.
Yeah.
And dragged me, do not talk about things like that in front of your brothers.
Yeah.
But why didn't she tell me?
Because
she was never told.
she was never
Because
told.
she was never given the knowledge to turn to her own daughter and say, listen, this is what's going to
that
happen.
this was
to you.
okay.
And it's okay, it's natural.
Absolutely.
But for me, also the good things for me with the menopause was having no period.
Yeah.
I do not regret that.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
I do regret that my mind went a little bit off the rocker and I was putting the milk into the washing machine instead of the fridge.
Yeah.
The keys were in the bathroom.
Yeah.
The keys to the front door.
Uh-huh.
And why they were in the bathroom is totally beyond me. I had my underpants under my knickers.
Yeah.
In a box instead of in the washing basket. Just literally stupid, crazy things. I couldn't remember my daughter's name at times. I couldn't remember my brother's name.
Yeah.
So all of that, but the one good thing was not having a monthly every week and every month. And I know that people say, that they had this, what do they call it when you have a monthly? It's a PMS, is it?
Your
PMS,
premenstrual tension. Yeah.
I didn't get that. What I used to get was just a little bit bloated and the cramps.
Yeah.
And also, well, I suppose I did really when you think about it, because I used to eat like a pig. And chocolate was always
that's exactly
the
what
thing
you
I went
do.
for.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise that's what it was. So you see, there you again. I am 64 years of age, and I had to tell you what I didn't know about PMS.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, Mary, given the kind of generation that we've both come from, and you're younger than I am, right?
Not by
that
much.
It's not surprising that when we get to, when we first get married, we don't talk about sex.
No.
We don't share stories, don't share our problems. When we're coming up to menopausal, we never mention it with each other. So it's not surprising because we're part of that society that has been indoctrinated into, you don't talk about that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you see, I was always the different one. But when I'd talk about that to my friends, and they used to look at me with 10 heads.
Yeah.
As if to say, like if I said to my sister, have you still got your periods? And this was going back years ago. That's you shouldn't be asking me.
That's only your
that.
business, exactly.
And you're kind of sitting there going, but you're only 12 years older than me.
Absolutely.
But she literally wouldn't. And when she went through menopause, I didn't know she was going through the menopause. She actually cracked up and thought her husband was having an affair and got on her hands and knees in the front garden, begging him not to leave her, and he wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, God.
She literally went
she really
off
believed
the trolley
it, off her trolley.
because of the menopause.
Yeah.
Because her hormones were changing, and she didn't even go to the doctor until one of her daughters dragged her to them. And that's when they told her she was going through menopause.
Yeah.
And this is what was wrong. Her hormones were everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think we do genuinely need to talk a hell of a lot more about this.
Of course we do.
For younger women.
Yeah.
But I do think the younger women today are more
They are
outspoken
and that's
than we
lovely.
were.
And they're more they're happy, but they're more relaxed about talking
They're
about their
accepting it.
needs.
Yeah.
And they're relaxed about talking about their sexual experiences.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's so healthy. I think
do
that's
too,
so much better.
You see, we were brought up by not brought up by the Catholic Church, but we were ruled by the
Influenced,
Catholic,
yeah,
by men.
we were, yeah.
By men in the church.
Yeah.
And I'm not slagging all men because I love men. But I just think going way back, the Catholic Church was run by men. And
Of course
still
it is,
is
and
to this
still is
day.
run by men. Yeah.
But they wouldn't allow people talk, if you said anything out the way you were condemned.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way it was.
Yeah.
But I just want the younger people out there to go and get help and to talk about it.
Yeah.
And because I mean, I talk to my daughter all the time now. She's looking at me as if to say, "Will you leave me alone? I'm only 37." But you're 37, Deborah, and nobody knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's going to hit you.
Absolutely.
Be prepared for it and be ready for it, and just. Well, I don't think anyone's ever really ready, but just know it's coming and that it's natural.
Absolutely.
And get as much help as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And if HRT is the thing that works for you, go and get the HRT.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Now I know some women who went on HRT, it didn't work for them at all.
Yes, yeah.
Right, but I know that it actually saved my life at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And albeit I was only on for about 3 years, right, it actually got me over that awful hump of, you know, I'm not actually going mad, it's okay. And I can, you know, manage this.
Yeah.
And I never did have to go on the Valium. Thank you very much.
Well, I tell you, that was the wrong thing she ever said to you, I'll give you Valium, because we now know that Valium, well, I suppose we knew it back then, but we know it even more now, that the likes of those tablets are so addictive.
They're so addictive. I'd still be on them, Mary.
Exactly.
I knew that, and I said, I want to be treated. I don't want you throwing something at me.
You want to feel it as normal as possible.
Absolutely.
I mean, I didn't go on the HRT because my doctor wouldn't recommend them.
Yeah.
And then I started hearing about the cancer
scare
that went on.
Yeah.
And of course I said, oh no, I'm not going on that. I don't want to get breast cancer and all this.
No.
And now they've discovered that, you know,
wasn't
the chances
the figures,
are
the
very, very
research
little.
they did and the age group that they applied it to didn't relate to women who were going through the menopause at all. They were postmenopausal women. I mean, it was just an absolute sham, and I still think it was to keep women ignorant.
Of course it was.
And anyway,
well, put it this way: we had it bad. You go back to Victorian times, and they were locked up or else kept in their bedrooms.
Oh yeah.
Women who
well,
started,
some women
because they didn't know
were
what the hell was
institutionalised
happening.
and never come out.
Never came out of it because they started the menopause.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what it was. So it was only starting to be beginning with us to get a little better. When I say a little better, I mean tiny.
Oh, tiny bit better.
And it's now got a little bit bigger and better.
Absolutely.
And let's hope that it can carry on.
It just keeps improving.
And it becomes part of natural speaking.
Absolutely,
and
natural discussion.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the same way you talk about high blood pressure.
Well, this is it.
You know, what treatment are you having for your blood pressure?
Yeah.
What's the best thing
Oh,
for
well,
this?
I'm on a blood pressure tablet, it doesn't bother me. But, and I'm on a cholesterol tablet, just to let you know all that out there. Listen, anything that will keep me going for another couple of years, I will take. I didn't realise that, and I'm trying to find the actual question, the thing that was sent in about the whales. Where's that gone?
Oh, yes, I have it here.
Yeah,
Mary.
it says here,
really interesting, isn't it?
only 5 animals on the planet are known
To experience the menopause, yeah.
And we are one of them.
Yes.
Then you've got the killer whale,
Yes.
the pilot whale, and what's that one there? And brutal.
The beluga
whale.
whales and narwhals. What's narwhals?
Never heard of
Never heard of
a narwhal.
it either. And it's still unclear why, right, the menopause, what the menopause serves, right? But some scientists believe that mature females from certain species, humans obviously, have evolved to forfeit their ability to reproduce so they can nurture their daughter's offspring. So in other words, granny. Play the role of granny. That's what you're doing. That's what it serves.
Yeah, this is what they're saying it serves.
Well, maybe it is part of evolving. Maybe that's exactly the reason why that women stopped reproducing at a certain age.
Why can't men do? Why doesn't it happen to men? I mean, they go out and buy a fancy car and pick up a woman 25 years younger than them.
True.
I have to sit in the bathroom and scream my head off until the thing passes.
Yeah, well, no, you have to look after the grandchildren. Like, it's as simple as that.
Well, listen,
right?
my daughter told me she's not having any grandkids, and she gave me a grandson, a 4-legged one, and he's called Tiger, and I'm happy with him.
So listen, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
But it's a personal question now,
Okay.
but as we're being very personal and very
Right.
open. Your sex drive, did that alter at all when you were going through the menopause? Were you aware of a difference or?
Listen, when I was younger, I loved sex.
Yes.
You know, and I'm not afraid to say that. And if I had a good partner, I had a great time. And I thought going through the menopause, my libido would go down because I remember talking to 1 or 2 people when I went to see a counsellor eventually just to try and sort out what was gotten in my head.
Yeah.
And I heard them saying, you know, their libido is gone. And I'm sitting there going, first of all, I didn't know what a libido was. So I'm sitting in the doctor's room and I'm going,
I thought it was something you used in a
What's this
swimming pool.
libido that they're all losing?
It's a floater for the swimming pool, isn't it?
So I remember when I went into the woman, the lady doctor that I was talking to, and I said to her, she says to me, how is your libido? And I remember looking at her going, oh
Libido?
my God. What? I said, I'm sorry. I said, I might sound very ignorant, but I said, what is libido?
Good for you.
And she said, it's your sex drive. And I said, oh, my sex drive. I said, that's grand. There's not a bother. I just can't find a fella to do with. But I never lost it. And even now at 64, I still have my little desires now and then. Yeah. Haven't met anybody. I did for a while, and now I haven't seen him in ages. God love me, but he half dead after I got him.
Okay.
But anyway, I that never bothered me. And God forgive me for saying this, but I used to pray.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, when I was before the menopause, I used to say, please God, do not let me lose my libido, because I've heard of people going a bit frigid and the whole lot, and I didn't want to go like that.
Okay.
So whoever was up there heard me prayer, and I didn't lose it. And I was very happy. Did you lose yours?
Did I lose it?
Or did
Again, it depends on your time in your life. If you had a partner, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
When I didn't have a partner, the drive wasn't there. But that's because I think that's your own mind going, well, there's no point in me going around in need.
Yeah, but you don't have to go around having a partner all the time. And there's other times when you feel, you know, like...
Oh, that's true. You can look after yourself.
And I've often done that, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. Now, I know Cathy Cullinan, who's my manager, would turn around and put her fingers in her ears and go, oh my God! But listen,
no, I'm all for DIY. If
I am too, yeah.
You know,
especially if it's rechargeable.
And it's called do you know what it is? It's called self-care.
It bloody well
You know when
is.
they say look after yourself and mindfulness, that's what it's about.
And let me tell you, girls out there, whatever age you are, go to the shops and get yourself something that'll keep you happy.
Absolutely.
Do not be afraid to feel good about yourself.
Well done.
Any way you can.
I mean, I reckon now they probably send you some samples for nothing because you're given. No, seriously, Mary.
My daughter
you're sponsoring. No, coming to post, you know. Roger Rabbit or whatever it is they call it. Yeah.
No, I don't like them ones. I seen one of them.
Well, that was.
They're for.
But listen, that was prevented by a man.
But
that was invented.
on the end of it.
But that was the size of the bloody thing, and I'm thinking that had to be designed by a man.
It was designed by a man, definitely.
Right? Because that is just doesn't resemble. I mean, it's not reality.
No.
Their reality, but how they perceive themselves to be.
They seem to think that women like
Absolutely.
big and large. No, it doesn't matter. Once it's quality and good, that's all that matters to me.
Small is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And there speaks to small women. Small is beautiful. So no, I was just curious because it is something that I have worried. I have worried about in as I get older.
Yeah.
I don't want desire to go. I don't want passion to go.
Oh, I don't want passion to go
I
either.
do think you do have to kind of work at it, Mary, as well. It isn't something that just stays. Am I embarrassing somebody in this room?
I think we're embarrassing somebody.
But I do think it's something that as a woman, as anybody, a man and woman get older, as a couple get older together, I think they have to work at it. You have to work at the passion, because you can just take things for granted.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a teenager and in your early 20s, even early 30s, right?
Oh,
you only have to think. Listen, you only have to think about him, or you only have to think about her, and before you know where you are, you're all ready to.
Correct.
For a really good, right?
A good time.
So, but as you get older, that lessens, and when you get used to somebody and you've reared a family and so on and so forth, it becomes less.
Well, it does. It's not that it becomes less. You just become very comfortable in your situation.
Absolutely.
That's it. And what you have to do then is light a few candles and put a lovely dinner on. And
of course you do.
That's what it's about.
Of course you do.
Instead of just thinking, what's the point? I know I'm living with them for donkey years.
And you might need a little bit of stimulation, a little bit of naughty movies, a few naughty movies, nothing. Just to get the appetite going. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Anyway, we should change the subject, I suppose, Mary. Now, I just want to say about our email address. Okay, is the Wow Podcasts. That's the Wow Podcasts @gmail.com.
Correct.
So if you have any issues you'd like us to discuss, or anything you'd like to make a comment on anything that we have been discussing here, please don't hesitate to let us know.
And it's the wise our ones. So have you got a question you'd like to ask me?
There is actually, Mary. Is there any secret to keeping passion alive?
Well, there's two types of passion. There's passion for life.
Okay.
And my passion for life is to keep walking as much as I can and to find different projects to do. That's the work bit. The other passion is trying to listen to my daughter and stop being a lazy cow and stop being afraid of the pain in my knee and getting up and going out for walks, especially now the summer is coming in.
Good for you.
And go out and smell the grass and listen to the birds and just literally keeping yourself alive, because what can happen, and I've seen it happen to my father, I've seen it happen to my mother, you can lock yourself away because you don't feel, because you're now a certain age, you don't feel you've anything else to give.
Yeah.
And that's not right, because we have so much more to give.
Couldn't
to
agree
the
with
world.
you
And
more.
I'm not talking about our business.
Yeah.
I'm talking about any form of business, any form of life.
Yeah.
Women and men who give up work or retire from work should go out and volunteer for things, should take up hobbies, should go for walks and meet new friends while they're walking, have a yap, have a talk about how they're feeling and have a laugh. So for me, it's doing all of that to keep the passion in your brain and in your heart going.
Yeah.
And in relationships, as we spoke about earlier on, light a candle, make sure you have a lovely dinner on the table every so often, go to the movies. We used to call them the pictures, if you remember that.
I do.
Go to the pictures or just go and see a good show in the theatre or something like that. But
Feel
keep
good factor.
the passion going, not just in the bedroom,
Absolutely.
but outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
Be happy with each other and talk to each other and be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I think foreplay is very important when
Of course
it's
it is.
keeping passion
And
alive.
that's foreplay
but
in
that
all
should
sorts of
start.
life.
Oh yeah, but that should start first thing in the morning.
Yes.
And it should continue on all day.
Yeah.
Now, and when I mean foreplay, I'm talking about a little peck on the cheek. I'm talking about holding your hand.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a little embrace. I'm talking about touch.
Yes.
And I don't mean touch in a. Yeah,
No, I know
probably.
what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about.
There's nothing like
We're not
someone
rushing it here. We're just.
cuddling you.
This is just the build up. This is just the foreplay.
Yeah.
And the foreplay should last hours.
It should.
Yeah. And so therefore, when the intimacy does happen, it's very pure and it's very, safe,
Honest.
and honest and real and beautiful.
And because you really want it. And
Oh,
not
yeah.
because you feel you have to force yourself to have it.
Absolutely.
And this is what happens in most relationships. You know, the majority of men love having sex because that's the way they're built.
Absolutely.
And women are built a little bit different.
Yes. Yeah.
So we need a little bit more
We need
foreplay and a bit
encouragement.
more
We need
comfort.
programming.
Yes, and we need touch.
That's what we need.
And we need to be told
We need
that we look
TLC.
pretty.
Yes.
You know, even if we're just come in from work and our hairs are all over the place.
Yeah.
And they say, go and have yourself a nice shower and relax, love.
Absolutely.
And you go upstairs, you have the shower, you're smelling beautiful.
Yeah.
You come down, he puts his arm around you, or she puts her arm, whoever you're with.
Yeah.
And they say, how are you feeling now?
Absolutely.
And a kiss on the little kiss on the lips.
Yeah.
And a cuddle on the chair. And it can all start from there.
Yeah.
And I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
Absolutely. But what's lovely, I think, in that is that it's our need, my need to be desired.
Oh, we all need
I
that.
want to be desired. I want my partner to desire me.
Yes.
And I want to feel that. I want to hear it in the voice. I want to feel it in the touch. And I think that's really important.
Of course it is. It's hugely important. For me, I don't have a partner at the moment, but sometimes it's nice when a gentleman will look at me and say, you're looking very well today, Mary, a friend of mine or something like that. And it's just, you go home and you think to yourself, well, somebody looked at me and said, I look okay, I look good.
Absolutely.
And that gives you a nice warm feeling inside. So if you're with a partner, for your partner to be open like that and honest.
Absolutely.
It has to be, come on.
Yeah.
It definitely has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we all need to give each other, everyone needs a little boost
we all
in their lives to keep the passion going.
Keep the passion alive.
So when you're out there, no matter how old or young you are, and no matter how long you're with your partner, or if you're on your own, give yourself the boost. Buy a bunch of flowers for yourself. Go to the movies.
Absolutely.
Go and sit in the park on a nice bench on a sunny day
Yeah.
and just think, isn't life good? Because there's so much wrong in the world today.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you going. And with your partner, smile at them, give them a birdie now and then. Now, a birdie, people are going to say, what's a birdie? A birdie's a little peck on the cheek or a peck on the lips. That's what my dad used to call it years ago. Give us a birdie.
Give us a birdie.
Yeah.
But I loved your take on passion for life, because I think it is something I agree with as well. And it doesn't matter. It's more important as you get older that you'd never let that passion, you keep encouraging that passion, is to get out and walk, is to get out and smell the grass, is to get out and keep fit, keep moving, because if you don't use it, you are going to lose it.
And that means that's for everything in life.
Everything. Oh, absolutely. And I, I'm on a real health kick at the moment. Because I haven't been well, so I'm thinking, no, I need to manage this. I need to take control, and I need to not give in.
True.
Which I was very inclined to go, oh, what's the point?
But we all are at some stage.
I know, but it's just lovely to kind of, listening to you and just kind of reiterate what I've been thinking myself, which is like, you don't give up, you keep going.
And the thing is that I'm saying that to you, and as I said out very honestly there, I've become very lazy.
Yeah.
In the fact that my left knee now is killing me. My right knee is perfect because I've got a brand new knee.
Yeah.
But my left knee is paining me.
Yeah.
And that's an excuse for me not to get up off the chair.
Yeah,
and walk.
I know.
So I'm becoming a
pain. Yeah, potato.
And I'm sitting there playing my phone or playing, me game, playing Spyro and stuff. That's not good for your brain all the time. And my daughter is going through my head telling me this, and I'm losing the head with her and having a fight with her. Instead of getting up, getting yourself washed, put your coat on,
and stroll out and walk.
Just go for half an hour.
Yeah.
Your
She's
whole
right.
head will clear.
Absolutely.
And you get the fresh air into your body.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky. I have a beautiful field across from me that I can go walking in. There's benches all along it.
Gorgeous.
I can walk along that.
Yeah.
I could walk for an hour and a half if I wanted to, and just sit on the benches and take in the beauty of nature.
Yeah.
You know, and I should be doing that. So that's my goal now when I come back from my holidays. And even when I go on my holidays, I'm going to be doing a little bit more walking.
Right.
I'm going to do swimming. That's something I love.
Funny, I think, you two, sometimes I think we're psychically connected,
I told you, we are twins from different mothers. Somewhere along the line we've been separated.
Only this week I had said to the physiotherapist, I said, walking one day, I haven't got the bike out yet, cycling the next day, and I said swimming the next.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a swimming pool not far from here.
Yeah.
And public
2 minutes
pool,
from my house is a swimming pool.
And you go, why aren't you down there?
Just laziness.
2 days a week, 3 days a week, and especially with your knee.
Yes.
Because it's
I can't
taking
go
the weight.
cycling.
No, it's taking the weight.
Yeah.
And you can exercise that knee no problem whatsoever.
And
again, it is so important.
Of course it is. And that's what I have to start doing.
Yeah,
I have to start doing. I have to start practicing what I'm preaching.
This is it.
And that's what I want to do. But I just want people out there to know that they're not on their own when they feel like this.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
Like
we all do. We all have bad days.
Sometimes it just takes...
Where you go, what's the point?
Get up.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the weather hasn't been brilliant in Ireland for the last couple of months. I mean, we've had nothing but bloody rain.
Yeah, but
and I tell you, if the government turn around this year and tell us we need to cut back on our water, I'll go down and I'll strangle them. Because we've had that much rain, they should be filtering it all and keeping it going.
But it really has been very depressing.
So hopefully the summer will be nicer.
I hope so.
And I pray that we all just get a grip on ourselves. Mm-hmm. Say to ourselves, life is worth living. And let's have a passion for it. Let's go out and see it and smell it and hear it.
Yeah.
And we can do it.
Touch it and taste it.
That's exactly. Touch it and taste it.
So, next question now, which is it's kind of on the same theme, really. And I don't want it to bring us down in any way, but it's, have you any fears around death?
I think the only thing for me around death is leaving my daughter. Because there's only two of us.
Yeah.
I've seen my mother die. I've seen my father die. I've seen my Uncle Willie die. My Aunt Mary. I've seen all my family, a lot of death through my years. Because I am 64 and that's the age we are.
Yeah.
I've seen friends pass. Death doesn't scare me because I believe that I won't know anything when it happens.
Okay.
So, and I'm hoping that there's something on the other side for me.
Okay.
Because I do have
a belief.
That belief. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't happen, I won't know it either way. So, because I'd be gone. But it's just the fear of leaving Deborah behind because there's only two of us. Now, she does have her cousins and she has, friends and stuff like that. But you know yourself when you're the only child, and I've only got one child. That's my worry, that she'll be on her own, and I don't want that for her.
Okay.
So I don't want to go because
And
I don't
leave
want
her.
to leave her. Yeah. Until I see her happy and settled. Although she's told me she's not going to
Well,
be
I was
on her
just going
own.
to say she's happy and settled by
is.
the sounds of it, Mary.
She is.
You know, I mean,
She
you
is.
just perhaps want her to be. I don't know. We're conditioned, you know,
Yeah.
to being happy and settled is with somebody, and
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily follow through
But
at
that's
all.
what she's told
If
me.
she's happy and settled in herself, if she's happy and settled in her own skin,
Yes.
if she's happy and settled doing what she's doing with her life,
Yes.
leave her fucking alone, will you?
Okay, then I will leave her the fucking alone. But
No,
you know
I-
yourself, it's the worry of it.
Oh, it is.
Debt for me it's obviously it's a part of life.
Yeah.
I don't want to go until I'm at least 95.
Okay.
And I
yeah.
still have my faculties about
Yes,
it. That's
yeah,
what I'd like.
yeah,
If my
yeah.
daughter has to wipe me bum, that's fine. I don't mind
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I want to have me fair amount of faculties
I think
still
as long as we have the
mind,
the
yeah.
mind, and we haven't lost the mind,
Yeah.
so we still have our awareness about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And have
that's,
you got a
that's the
fear of
biggest.
death, or-
I have actually. My fear is born out of, which is, you know, it's a contradiction in terms. I tell myself I'm not religious, and I'm not religious.
Okay.
I'd be more spiritual
I'm very spiritual.
than I would be
but
religious.
Yeah.
However, when I think about death, I think about hell. And I think about the fires of hell.
Right.
Right. So
That's-
what's
that's
coming
what we're
back
being
is the
brought up,
conditioned Catholicism, even though I don't believe it. Right.
Yeah.
I do not believe it, except when I have had near-death experiences and my demons come up.
Yeah, well, we all have them.
Right. And you go, what's this about? You don't bloody believe in anything after. When you die, you die. It's it. End of.
But right at the back of your
That
subconscious,
fear, I
it's
think
there.
I'm going to be answerable, you know, for, I don't know, for the mistakes I made in my life.
Have you
I'm going to
murdered
be
somebody?
punished.
Have you murdered somebody?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I'm considering it.
Have you badly, well, we're all on that, we're all there. But have you badly treated anybody? Now I'm talking badly treated anybody.
I don't think so.
Have you done anything that the Catholic Church so-and-so says is a mortal sin?
No. I don't believe, you see, I don't believe that we're capable of
But
mortal
you're now
sin.
talking about hell.
Yeah.
In the Catholic religion, it tells us that if you do a mortal sin, you are going to hell. You have not done a mortal sin. If there is a hell there, you're not going anywhere near it.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that I don't believe in purgatory. And I don't believe in hell. I think purgatory and hell are here.
Oh, I
What
think
we
your
go
heaven.
through here,
I
the
think
lo-
your heaven, hell
the loss
is here.
of a
Yeah.
loved one,
Absolutely.
the loss of your parents,
Yeah.
the pain we go through for our children,
Yeah.
the pain because of a lover. That's all part of
your
healing.
of course it is.
The badness, whatever bad you did or you feel you done, I think that's forgiven
yeah.
when we go through all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So if there's a heaven, I'm very happy. There's a song called "I'm Not Scared of Dying," and there's one particular bit where it goes, you know, I'm not scared of dying, and I don't really care if it's peace you find in dying. Well, then let the time be near. That's that bit. But then there's another bit, and it goes, you know, I can pray there ain't no heaven. No, I can pray there. I can swear there ain't no heaven, and I pray there ain't no hell. I'll never know by living, only my dying will tell. It's only my dying will tell. It's a song I
Brilliant.
want sung at my funeral.
Oh, well
And
done,
it's
you.
blood, sweat and tears.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
reason I want it, and I want it done by gospel singers.
Okay,
I want
okay.
at least 4 gospel singers on that altar
Fantastic.
singing,
Brilliant.
I'm not scared of dying.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
So
Yeah.
bundle up my coffin, cause it's cold way down there. I hate when it's cold way down. And then you have, and when I die, and when I'm dead and gone, there'll be one child born in this world to carry on, That's what I want.
Lovely. Well done, you.
Thank you very much,
Fabulous.
thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Autographs of 5 or
Well, of course, if that's at your funeral, there won't be an encore, Mary, okay?
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. That was me knocking over
the
Alish's china cup.
There won't be an encore. But yeah, that's lovely. So,
But that's the way I'm trying to look at
okay.
life.
So
and
what would
look
you
at
like
death.
your legacy to be then?
I think I'd like, for my daughter, I'd like her to see me as, you know, a strong woman.
Okay.
I'd like her to think that, you know, Mommy got up and did what she had to do.
Uh-huh.
And this little lazy bit thing that I'm talking about, I want her I want her to see me getting up and getting back out there.
Absolutely.
The legacy I'd love to leave to anyone who has followed me and given me the power and the courage to get up and do what I'm doing.
Okay.
I want them to look and say, well, if Mary Boone can do it, so can I. She comes from the working class area, and she left school at 12, and look what she's done. She's made 4 albums, maybe 5.
Yeah.
She's acting. She's doing a podcast. She's met so many great people in her life. And for people to turn around and say, I admire her. Just a little bit I admire her.
Yeah. And she's a great talker.
Oh
boy, she's a great talker.
What would your legacy
But you're an interesting talker. What would my legacy be? Pretty similar to you. I want people to remember that I did have passion for life.
Yeah.
And that I have inspired people, that
Correct.
when I have bounced back, I have I was going to say reincarnated myself, but maybe I have.
Yeah.
But I have recreated myself.
We both have.
Several times over.
Yeah.
Well, more than several times over in my lifetime. And so when I look back on it, Mary, I'm very, very proud of that.
I'm beginning to get very proud of myself too.
Absolutely. And I go, you know something? Actually, you've achieved quite a lot.
Yeah.
Right? You're so busy putting yourself down at times that you don't actually home in on what you have actually achieved and how inspirational you are.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
But I often, like, when you think about that and being inspirational to others, you're kind of sitting there and you're going, but how, but why? But we shouldn't be questioning that.
We shouldn't be questioning,
saying
just
to them,
accepting
thank you,
it.
and I'm delighted that
Absolutely.
I've done that for you.
And I have no doubt that we have been inspired. You've been inspired by our own mothers and our own experiences in life, and people who've had a huge impact on us in life, good, bad and indifferent.
Yeah.
Because as you were saying earlier on, we're growing all the time.
All the time.
We're learning through our pain.
Yes.
We're growing through our pain. And I just feel... when I wrote that song in my show, Live, Love, Laugh, that's my legacy.
Yeah.
I want to live, I want to love, and I want to laugh.
And that's exactly how every single human being feels.
And that's really kind of, that's my mantra. That's my mantra. You know?
And I think, we will. I think the people who have followed us and, got us to where we are will do that for us, will keep our memories alive.
Absolutely.
And we'll actually turn around and hopefully say, I was inspired by those ladies.
Yeah.
And that'll be a lovely thing to leave behind.
On a much lighter note, though I thought that was pretty light. We handled that pretty light.
Lovely to talk about it.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh God, I want to be you. Do you know, I would love, I'm going back to the old days.
Okay.
And when I looked at what would I like to be when I grow up? I'd like to be what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And probably do it a little bit, higher than what I'm doing.
Okay.
And do a little bit more on television and stuff like that. So I want to be that grown-up woman who gets what they've worked hard to get.
Absolutely. Who gets what you deserve.
But there is, Betty Davis for me would have been one of those women I would have loved to be because she was feisty. And she was a brilliant actress.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have that meat in me.
Yeah.
And be able to, do what she did. So that's
you have that. We have that meat in you, Mary.
Yeah,
you have that.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you said. Oh yeah. I mean, because it was kind of bringing me into my next question. That but I think you've answered it already. But I'm going to give it to you, which was, if you never had to work again if you had enough money that you never had to kind of worry about money, what would you be doing with your life? What would you want to be doing?
Well, I tell you, to be honest, and this is an honest thing, and I know a lot of people say it's very cliche, but I don't think it's cliche. There's 2 different things I'd like to do. I'd love to own a rescue centre for animals.
Okay.
And I would give my left arm to be able to help a lot of children out there who don't have anyone to help them.
Okay.
And whether it's this country or another country, I'd love to be doing something like that. If I had enough money that I didn't have to work and I could do this, that would be my dream. And biggest dream of all would to have 2 beautiful donkeys on my rescue land. That's what I would like.
You don't want much, Mary, do you?
No, I don't want much.
But another Christina Noble, yeah. Did you ever read her book?
I did, yes. I met her.
Have you met her?
Yeah,
I've never. I'd love to have met her.
She's as mad as a hatter, but she's.
So I believe.
When I met her, but
yeah.
she's a nice person. Yeah, and she done a lot of good for the children over there. I don't know the woman personally. And I know, you're going to get people saying, oh, she's this, that and the other. And people who know her.
Yeah.
That's nothing to me. What she did for the children is what matters to me.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And moving on now, when you're from Betty Davis, okay, that inspiring actress. We're very lucky that we are in such a very small country to ooze such talent as we do within the music industry, within the film industry. And within the theatre industry.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering today, who would be your icon as an actor here in Ireland, from Ireland, or any actor actually?
There's a few. I mean, Saoirse Ronan for me is just doing so well in what she's doing.
Yeah.
Now I know Julie Walters is not. They class her as an English
yes, but
actress,
she's Irish descent.
But her parents
yes, absolutely
were Irish, and she did that thing, that show where you talk about her life, and she was back here in Ireland and she was doing the whole thing.
Yeah,
I just think she, for me, is an absolute fabulous actress.
Oh, I love her.
And is Irish in her. And if you go over to the UK
yeah.
and you look at, I'm a huge fan of the Harry Potter movies and books.
Yeah.
And the amount of Irish people. Actors who were in that.
Oh, I know. I was reading today. I was doing a little bit of research.
Dumbledores.
I know.
2 Dumbledores.
Listen, you've got Fiona Shaw. She was in Harry Potter.
Her. Lovely woman.
Is she?
Yes.
I'd love to meet her.
And you know, when I met her at the opening of the Deadly Hallows in England when I was doing the X Factor in 2010, and I ran up to her and I said, "Oh, I've been dying to meet." And she said, I've been dying to meet you. And I didn't know at that stage she was Irish. And I hugged the guts out of her, and she hugged the guts out of me. After she played Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter,
just
the evil
well, you're
woman.
an expert on the Harry Potter movies. Now, the other one that was in Harry Potter was Brendan Gleeson.
Yes.
He was in Harry Potter.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris?
Richard Harris played the first Dumbledore.
Right.
Yeah.
So give me some other names, because you're the expert now on...
I can't remember them now. I'd have to see them. But
okay. Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis, was he in?
No, Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't in it.
No, as far as I know, I'm not absolutely certain, but I think Daniel Day-Lewis was probably the first Irish actor to get 3 Oscars.
Really?
I think. No, I'm not sure.
But is he really Irish?
Now, is it him, or am I getting him mixed up with somebody else? I'm just checking now me notes, but I'm not absolutely sure. And of course, you remember Brenda Flicker, because she was in My Left Foot.
I met Brenda Flicker.
Oh, you've met her.
Oh, I was at the RTE party. The 50th anniversary.
You're kidding.
Yes, just drop a few more names. Boom.
Buddy.
But I was outside at the time. I smoked, and so did Brenda.
Yes.
And I'm outside, and she's standing right beside me, and I'm looking at her. And Imelda May was there as well. And I'm standing there, and
I met Imelda.
I met Imelda. I looked at Imelda, and I knew her. I didn't speak to her on that night.
Yeah.
I spoke to her later on.
Yeah.
But I remember just turning around and said, Brenda Flicker, and she goes, Mary Bourne, and I went, how do you know me? And she goes, oh my God. And
everybody knows you.
that was, that's an incredible feeling that these superstars in my eyes, Brenda for me was My Left Foot. Obviously, that was, for me, that was one of her greatest movies.
Casualty, I watched, never missed her.
And then I loved her in the Home Alone film.
Yes.
She was brilliant in that.
She was also in one which was, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it was set in, it was about a father who, his daughter had been raped, and the boys were never really brought. They were getting off.
Right.
But this 9-year-old had been brutally raped, and he went in and shot 2 of them, I think it was. And there was Brenda Flicker was the secretary to the lawyer. It was based on a true story.
Oh, I'd love to see that. You can take the name.
I'll have to get the name, because you will absolutely love it. I mean, it is gripping stuff.
Well, I'm sure our listeners would like to get the name of that as well. So when you think of it, and we're doing our next podcast.
We'll mention it. But it's absolutely brilliant. Really, really good stuff. And we'll have to talk about movies next time and what your favourite movies are.
Oh, definitely. Listen, so much to talk about. But what I would like for our listeners when they listen to the podcast is to write down what they want to talk about.
Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
they think we should be talking about.
Yeah.
And have a bit of fun with it,
Yeah.
or talk serious. I don't mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't give anyone advice as regards medical stuff, but if it's a romance, I might be able to give a little bit of.
Of course you can.
You know.
You're a wise woman. We're wise
the
old
wise
ones,
old
for God's
ones.
sake. But listen, now we have to mention Cillian Murphy as well because
Oh, listen, he just broke my heart when I seen him getting that Oscar.
Oh,
What a
isn't
man.
that something else?
I mean, he's a tiny man.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
a
know.
lot of women think he's the most beautiful thing under the sun.
Really?
I just look at him and see this little boy. Now,
Is he tiny? I didn't know he was tiny.
He's fairly small. Yeah, he's not the tallest man in
Did
the
you
world.
ever see him in Breakfast at Pluto?
No.
Now, there's a movie that was done years and years and years ago. And it's fantastic, set in the north of Ireland. Brilliant
But he was
performance.
also
And he
in
should
The
have
Wind That
got,
Shakes the
he
Barn,
should have
wasn't
got, he was in that as well.
And he was in, what's the series he did?
Yes. What's the series he did?
Peaky Blinders.
Come on. What?
Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
And a fabulous actor.
Oh, he's absolutely
And he's a
gifted.
chameleon.
Yeah.
Because he can. I mean,
Yeah.
what got me about this new movie? And what's the name? Then I can't remember the name of the new movie.
Oppenheimer's.
Yeah, right. So his accent, he just changed his
Well, you
accent.
see, I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen
Oh,
it?
I've seen it. It's absolutely fabulous. It's
Oh,
fabulous.
I would recommend it
And
then.
he is just brilliant in it.
Well, you have to try and get Breakfast at Pluto and watch it.
I will get that. And
Do
you get
because
the
I
name
think
of what
you
you're
will,
talking about,
and I will. I will.
For our
Something
listeners.
time. I can't remember, but anyway, I will be. So yeah. And Daniel J. Lewis. Now he was fantastic. Wasn't he in Wolves? What was the Wolves?
No, he was in the
would
Gangs
be-
of New York.
He was
Or
with.
was it the Gangs of New York?
He was definitely in My Left Foot. Obviously, that's when he got his first.
He was
Oscar.
absolutely
Brilliant.
fantastic in that.
Lincoln. He was in Lincoln.
He was in Lincoln.
He
yeah.
was in There Will Be Blood. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure he was in something else, which was
Wasn't he in that? Was that the Gangs of New York where he was with? What was the guy's name who was in Titanic? Leo
DiCaprio.
Yeah. Wasn't is it
Is it
Gangs of New
DiCaprio?
York or is it something else? It's something
Listeners,
to do with New York. It's about two
Yeah.
gangs,
Yes.
fighting.
might have
and
been
things
Gangs of
and
New
that.
York. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it.
Okay.
I know there's something else out called the Gangs
Yeah,
of New York or
yeah.
something to that, and that's why I'm probably getting mixed up.
Well, listeners, I hope
But we-
we're making sense. Okay. Because we're certainly not making sense to ourselves. But anyway.
It's been an absolute pleasure again. Talking a big load of crap, but we had great
No,
fun
we did.
talking
That was
it.
great fun. We did, and I just want to see if there's anything else that I should be actually bringing up here, Mary, before we finish. Yeah. How do you think other people see you?
Oh God, that's a hard one because sometimes I find it hard to look at myself and see me as I'm supposed to be, or as I think I am. I think a lot of people would see me as, taking the bull by the horns and getting on with life.
Okay.
And I think they would think that I have literally put myself out there as a lamb among lions to be torn apart
Yeah.
if I didn't do well.
Okay.
But I think what they see me as is someone who's really had a great chance and took it and ran with it and been very lucky and had such loyal people who've stuck behind me and got me to where I am. I hope that's the way they would see me.
Well, you've just
And as a
described a
person-
very, very courageous woman.
Oh, jeez. Don't know about that. But how do you?
Well, how do people see me? I hope they see me as somebody who is, feisty, determined, more front than Harrods.
Yes.
At times, right? Or more front than Brown Thomas.
Whatever.
Fearless. Now that's what the impression I think
Yes,
I give.
yes.
Fearless. I would like people to think that I am strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would like people to think I'm strong, but I also want people to know that I have a big heart.
Oh yeah.
And that, I wear it on my sleeve all the time, which sometimes can get me into trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, my doctor's forever given out to me about talking about my depression and the whole lot on radios and stuff.
I think you're dead right to. I think you're dead right to.
Jacko,
yeah,
do you want to come on the podcast with us?
I think Jacko's trying to tell us that we need to wrap this up, Mary.
I think so, yes.
So before we wrap up, I will just remind you once again of our email address, and I just need to find it, so you just bear with me. And I think it is called...
I know there's a wow.
The thewowpodcasts at gmail.com. So it's good night from me, and it's good night. Say good night, Mary.
Good night, Mary. Is that okay?